Friday! Three-coin in the house!
He's a three-coin cowboy.
Please come join us at Three Coin Podcast, The Bridge. Stank.
Hey guys, it's Three Coin. You know, we love fashion. We love anything that elevates, living our energy. And fashion is one thing that has always got me excited. Obviously, we have a clothing brand. And our podcast is called Bridge. What we do is we bridge. I want to bridge talented people with energy. So I went out to New York last weekend, day before yesterday actually, got back last night. And I hit the city and started doing some reels and doing some stuff. Josh at Hommage reached out to me and said, "Hey, Three Coin, man, you're blocked from my shop." And I looked on there and said, "Man, Josh is big. He's got this store. It's fantastic." I said, "Well," and I had my grandson with me and Paula with me. I said, "I'm going to try to do some content while I'm here." So clicks along through the weekend. Josh and I went back and forth. And Alex was at the store, and I went in there, I guess it was the day before yesterday. And Josh's store is unbelievable. It's vintage. It's T-shirts, rock T-shirts, authentic stuff. None of this fake stuff. None of this. I mean, it's just got stank all over it. You walk in there, and I mean, you just go. My eyes, I went on overload. So I got Josh with me. Say, "Hey, Josh, glad you're here."
Hey, thanks for having me, man. That was a nice introduction.
Thank you. I've got Avery with me. Avery's my daughter, Josh, and she's got her and Devin have Route 66 on the West Coast and on Venice Beach. And Abe, I want you to tell the story how you and Deb got together a couple of years ago. I've got Kris with me. Kris is from East Texas, like KD is, like my son and Avery are. This group has known
Hey, how are you?
These guys, Josh, since they were kids. Kaiten is partners with me on Three Coin, and Avery does a lot of her editing on top of her running her own store and the whole 9 yards. We all have a passion for fashion. You know, Josh goes by Pappy also, and I know Pappy. I go by Tiny as well.
That's funny.
Got the real babies.
Okay, so well, I appreciate you having me first and foremost. Thank you for coming to the store. Huge fan. You know, from just watching you just a little bit. You're someone I would love to just be in the same building with, like energy, nothing but positivity. And it's kind of what I strive for. So I feel like, I kind of knew that there was something there that we could hit it off. And look, you got me in the podcast. And this is exactly what you were saying you like to do, like bridge the gap, is something that I've kind of been since COVID. It's kind of, I was selling vintage before that, but COVID really pushed me in the direction to do it full time. I love the conversation about a piece, what connects you to a piece, what makes you want this piece, right? I love that kind of like storytelling when it comes to vintage, right? So during COVID times, me and my business partner, Fresh Kills, his name's Pete, so I'll be mentioning him. We both kind of own Hommage, and we started off just wanting to getting that back, because during COVID we were selling a lot on Instagram, doing lives. I used to do this thing called Trade Wars, where I would have a friend on and we would just try to trade higher end tees and kind of swap stuff out. And we created this thing called East Coast Connection, where we kind of force people to get back into the building. Let's just hang out. Let's discuss the item. Let's just, enjoy each other's company, kind of. And that kind of just snowballed. This is 6 years later, to kind of having a store in Manhattan, having a showroom. We had another location that kind of really started us off that we're relocating right now. It was in Times Square. It was called Vintage on 46. So we're relocating. We'll be open in the next 2 months. That's just a little like kind of what I got going on right now and kind of how I got here a little bit.
Well, Josh, I got to say, I walked to your store and I walked in and it's curated so well. I mean,
Thank you.
My store, I mean, I got a little hoarder in me. I want more, I get more. And we, and with our deal with the old Letterman jackets and the overalls and the vintage stuff, I've got to buy it when I see it, kind of like you do.
Yes.
But when I walked in your store, I mean, I bought more out of your store than I've ever bought anywhere, because I've never seen that much quality merchandise
Wow, that's
I mean, every
real
piece,
compliment.
I wanted to buy double what I left with. I promise you, and I will. And I think that's the East Coast vibe. And like Avery's out on the West Coast, and that we're uniting the brands. But the way that we find stuff, when I was in your store, there was a gentleman in there that you obviously trade back and forth with, and that's the thing about we have a passion for this. We're not in competition with one another.
No.
We're growing our passion, and we're traders. I mean, hell, I like what you have. When you like this, okay, let's do it. And
Yeah.
that's we all bring stuff. Not everybody can pick and have the time to do what we do, but we make it easy for people that want to have that unique look, and we go out and do it for them. And when someone puts a piece that I've curated on, it makes me feel so happy. Not only for the sale is part of it, because that allows me to go get something else. You know,
Right.
it is a revenue stream, obviously, but I don't buy anything that I'm not passionate about. I know you don't either. Because
Yeah,
if I
no.
have art for it, then I don't want it in my store because I can't
Right.
tell the story.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also too, with the vintage stuff, it has a soul to it. We're perpetuating that light, and we just carry it on and we share it with other people. I'm not trying to make it holistic or more than what it is, but the stuff makes me feel good when I wear a vintage piece.
You're speaking facts. I think we're all here. We're all, historians
Right
when it
on.
comes to textiles, fabrics and clothing. We're just continuing the story.
The rock T-shirts that I got from you, oh my, Avery, you're not gonna believe the rock and roll.
I can't wait to see him.
But all of it. So if you had and I got to Alex showed me into Josh's private lair. And I went, oh my God, get me out of here before I start stealing stuff. I said the camera's on because I mean, seriously, I was gonna write a hot check yesterday if I didn't show. But
Yeah, I was like, get him up there. I want him to see because I make a couple things, I upcycle some stuff. I wish I was there, honestly. I would love to have been there, but I knew
Well,
Alexis would
it worked
handle it. Yeah.
I think you had a limited time, and also too, that's the other part. When you've got people that work with you that are passionate, like Kris, that's sitting over here to the right of me. Kris and Kate have been friends since they were kids. Avery knows Kris from growing up in East Texas. We're all 903ers, and it's just real, and there's not an ego or attitude with it because it's fun. I mean, we're spreading love and joy through fashion, and you meet such good people that are passionate about it. So it really is a joy. Avery, would you kind of tell how you got into clothing and how
Yeah.
you showed up and how you and Dev had Route 66 going? So
Mhm.
kind of explain your story, Avery, if you would. And Avery's my daughter. She's my youngest. And she's an artist and a musician like most of us are. I mean, if you like this stuff, you anything makes you feel good, you lean into. And art and clothing and being good people, it all falls hand in hand. Go ahead, Avy.
Yeah, I think yeah, so I started really kind of having this like I guess desire to dress cooler or different than like growing up in a small town in East Texas. It was very like uniformed. I went to, a school where everyone wore the same thing. And I remember the first time I really wanted to like step out was like a pair of like platform Converse. And that was like, you don't wear those, like that. Everyone looked at me and kind of just was like, what is she wearing? And I honestly, instead of taking that personally, I wanted more of that. And so just the desire to be creative in a small town really started this love for vintage, understanding that like I could have an outfit on that the person next to me can't or won't have or doesn't think is cool really struck a chord for me in my love for like then sourcing those pieces. So I was living in Austin. I think I was about like 18. Just was still figuring out, knew I wanted to style, knew I wanted to do music and also find cool clothing. And Austin's where it started for me as far as like the love for vintage. I ended up having my own booth at an antique mall and then doing markets on the weekends. It's an interesting, it's not ego centered, but it's just the desire to be creative and different. And have something on that like, is eye catching. That is not mass produced, I think is really special. So I was in Austin and then ended up like felt this calling to Venice Beach. I didn't know why. And I was just like, well, vintage is always something that, I fell back on and I wanted it to become my main gig. So obviously growing up too with my dad, I remember him bringing us food at school, and he'd have like some like, we're in Texas, right? But I'm going to a school where like the dads are doctors, the dads are lawyers, and dad had on like a raggedy pair of like vintage overalls and like, a train conductor hat. And my friends were like, what is he wearing? And I just loved it. I really found the passion for clothing and to be unique from my dad. He also is not a great speller, so like I would be on eBay looking up like vintage Polo Ralph Lauren from like a really
Me
young
too. Me
age.
too. I'm a horrible speller.
I
No.
would have,
Yeah.
Josh, I would have, say, Avery, type this in. How do you, because I'm dyslexic, and
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
it just gave me, it leaned into I can't spell, but I damn sure know what it looks fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Avery looked at me. She was probably 5 or 6. She goes, Dad, your teacher should have got fired. I said, baby, it wasn't my teacher. I had great teachers.
Yeah. But there was an exposure to that vintage world at a really young age, and that I just like was obsessed with. And so I moved to Venice. I didn't really know why. I ended up working at a vintage shop out in Venice, and then ended up meeting my boyfriend Devin, and he had the shop for about a month, and it's called Route 66 Vintage Co. And I was just amazed when I met him. I don't know if we started dating first or working together, but it all just kind of meshed. And he is a historian. I thought I knew about vintage until we had these conversations that I didn't realize how deep the world of vintage really goes. And the ways to source, and yeah, just having a space where I feel like I love vintage archival funky designer stuff, not that we always keep that in store, but just patterns and textures, and he loves true vintage, so kind of merging the two where there's a piece for everyone that walks in is really special.
Well, Avery, I'm going to jump in here real
Yeah.
quick. So in Josh's store, he's got the Nirvana reel that they brought out when they.
Wow.
And I asked Alex, I go, I wasn't going to buy. I mean, I have stuff in my store not for sale,
Right.
not for sale. And Josh, you're the same way. I want to show it off, but it's not for sale.
Yeah.
And Alex goes, what's the price? And I go, I can't afford it. I don't want to buy it. But
Mhm.
I mean, Josh, how did you come across that Nirvana? Because that's one of your special pieces. I know it is.
So yeah, that's actually from one of our curators in the store, Leon. It's original. I think it was his brother. I know he's in his parents are all in the music industry. So it
Right.
was like original. He had it since they came out. So it's
Wow.
family heirloom. I don't think he's selling it. I think he has the shirt too. It came with a shirt, came with the film, it came with a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Oh, funny part about it is I was watching on it, probably like y'all do at night when I'm trying to just stay connected. I look at stuff and watch stuff and I see stuff. So I just heard about that piece watching something. And I go, oh my
Oh
gosh, I
wow.
couldn't believe in a million years I would see it. But it's so funny once you get in this industry and people find you have a passion for it. And people like I will sell something that I wanted to share with the world, but I want something as special before I sell that to replace it with in my mind for my personal collection. So everything I have at some point I will sell or pass it on for someone
Right.
else, a bigger
Mhm.
audience. And that is part of, stuff comes to us for that reason.
Yeah.
We're not
I,
the caretakers of it, I think.
I think so too, Dad. I agree. And just sometimes having those pieces that aren't for sale just to draw the people in, I think is super important to the space
Of
too.
course. Of
Yeah.
course. It's a common language and it's a style language and it's just united. So Josh, on y'all's end, what are the lanes of which you come by your products and stuff out there? Because and like we have certain people. We have a young man here that is a manager, and when the artists and stuff comes to town, he makes sure they're comfortable in Dallas, and they go to a lot of openings and get a lot of premiums. They get invited. He brought a WNBA All Star in here the other day.
Nice.
She bought a pair of our vintage overalls, and they're long and they're cool. And I go, and during a reel, Kris and I were making another, and I said, yeah, we had, he brought someone in here, and I said, well, I said, these overalls aren't for everybody, but they're for one body. And that's kind of what I like, style,
Mhm.
one body. And
Mhm.
she's long and tall, and she was saying, we love this kind of stuff as athletes because we can put it on and we can be unique in it. And so, I'd rather tailor for the few instead of the masses. When I go to Neiman's, they like everything I put on. someone comes to my store and I see them pick up a piece that I've hunted for and it doesn't look right on them, I go, I mean, we don't lie to them. We go, that doesn't, the energy fits you or not. You know, walking away from sales, but that person doesn't look right in it. I don't want them to leave in it. And I know we all have that same passion, but when it looks right on them, hell, I'll give them a discount because I
Yep.
want them wearing it and tell them where they got it.
I couldn't agree more. I'm definitely like, if we can't help you, I'll send you somewhere else that could help you. Right?
Exactly.
I'm a big, like, like people come into the store when we had on 46th Street in Times Square. You get a lot of tourists, maybe more younger women. Not really looking. Hey, I'll look it up. Go here, because I'm a believer that people buy from people they like. You could have the product, you could have all the stuff, but if you're, excuse my French, a jerk off, people don't want to shop from you.
Scoot.
Yeah. So I'm we had a couple local vintage stores in the neighborhood, and before you go, I'll get you the address to a couple of stores to go to. Like, I'm not how much money they making. I can't send them a customer. That's like, I don't know. That's like we're both ping pong customers back and forth.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
The boat rises. Everybody's happy when they know we're
Right.
just clinging for that sale. Then they shop more freely.
Yes.
They love the experience of it.
Yep.
We were doing an opening here at this store, and there's Mighty Pythons here, which is iconic. I mean, iconic. And I look over, and the lady has her son in here with us, young child, been picking like I was. My mom got me into fashion as a young child, and I always loved it. I was 3 or 4 years old shopping with my mom. And man, it just hit me then. It was something that her and I did together, and she was always stylish and always wore her own style, didn't she, Avery?
Yeah, she's like the original icon for me. Yeah.
So, but this lady, and all of a sudden, someone said, "Do you know who's in your store?" And I walk over there, and she's, "I'm Dolly." I go, "Whoa."
Oh my Lord.
I tip my hat. She goes, "I love what you're doing here." And I said, "Well, I can pick out stuff that I go into your store and buy." And she goes, "Randy, that's what we do in this industry." So she was iconic in our little hometown, but she taught me the path 3 years ago. Hey, we're all in this together. Let's help each other. Just what we're doing today. You're on the East Coast, go to Hommage. You're on the West Coast, go out to Venice Beach and go to Route 66. Meet some other kinfolk is what I like.
Yeah. Well, now I have 2 stops, right? When I go to Texas, I'm going to see you. When I go to West Coast, I'm going to see Avery. And that's what it's all about. Yeah, and it's just
New York and
go ahead, baby.
Dallas. New York and Dallas, y'all are the spots.
Yeah.
I got my partner to the right over here. I call it Special K. Kris, tell us how you got into fashion, because you and Kate and Jack, y'all known each other since y'all were pups. Tell how you have a passion for it, and tell how you got discovered on the modeling side. Listen to this story, y'all. It's fabulous.
All right, so nice to meet you, Josh.
Nice to meet you, man.
First and foremost. But yeah, back to what basically what Avery was saying. Before I met Caden and Avery and all of them in East Texas, I was actually even in a smaller town. It's in Tennessee. My granddad basically raised me because my mom was a model and she was a video vixen, so she was like traveling a lot. So I was raised by my grandparents, so that kind of got me started with like a little bit of vintage and like antique and like knowing
That's great.
stuff. But then as I left Tennessee, I moved to Texas. I moved to East Texas. Kind of the same thing what Avery was saying. I started wearing like different pieces, different things, different stuff like that. And they're like, "What are you wearing? Like, why are you wearing that?" And not taking it personal, that fueled me. So I would wear like 90s, the Run DMC suits, and then swap it up and do distressed jeans or just all over the board. And so I would use that to like fuel me every single year. It started like freshman year in high school and just like elevated all the way till I was a senior. And I met Caden probably like my sophomore year in high school. He was at the skate park. I was at the skate park. He was skating. I would ride BMX. Normally we kind of have a beef, but he's seen I was rocking like some high-end designer shoes, like riding, skating and stuff. And we kind of like seeing each other and we're like, "Yo, bro, you know what you got on?" Like yada, yada, yada. And we hit it off. So him being into fashion, he take me to his house and he has like Yves Saint Laurent jackets and all, like, mind you, bro, we're sophomores in high school with a couple $100 pieces that we're like saving allowance money for just to cop, just to get. But that kind of started that. So that built my relationship, my friendship with my brother Caden. That led to me meeting Jack and Avery. And so Caden then, like, we were super, super close. He moves off to do, I think it was Silent, something like that in Denver. So I'm still in the small town of East Texas trying to figure it out. I see him, like, he's traveling, he's styling. Me not being, like, taking envy or being envious, I use that to fuel me. Like, if he can do it, I know I can do it too. So Almighty blessing me like he always does. Kane moves back to Dallas, and that gives me an opportunity. He's like, hey, I know these people, these photographers, to get you in the men's fashion week. I really think you can do it. You know, that's like the risk. Like, hey, should I do it? Hey, should I don't do it? And I was just like, you know what? I swallowed the pride and literally did it. I was still living in East Texas. So I was traveling back and forth doing casting calls for a week, sleeping on his couch, like doing whatever it takes to make it. And I finally get in. 2019, I do my first men's fashion week, and right before it starts in March, COVID hits. So now we're back at square one. Like, what do I do? How do I get into it? And I'm just like brainstorming with Caden, like, and he's just like putting that battery in my back, like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Mind you, I'm still working a 9 to 5, which is I'm an assistant manager at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Been there for like 7 years now. They've somehow the COOs come into my store, and I guess they see my energy and they're like, hey, we like you. Come do this casting for a commercial. So they fly me out. I do a commercial. I do it in one take. I pat myself on the back. I do it in one take.
You should.
He loves it, and it just goes up. And so I've been on their commercial from, let's see, 2022. And it just ended like 2025. So like last year, that's when they.
Wow.
Yeah, man, that was my
That's
start.
so cool.
Fire.
That's a crazy story. I say you were a kid.
Taking that risk, swallowing my pride, and just believing in myself, and then believing in Almighty and what He can do for us.
Let this resonate a minute. Kris is behind the shop. He's changing oil. He's working, doing his deal, he's getting promoted there. They see his shine. You can't cover that spirit and that shine up in what's coming inside out from being a good human. And they're walking through there because the guys just really come to do a corporate check on their high volume store here. Hypothetically, I know how this stuff happens. And they see Kris. Next thing you know, you can't put a lid on the aura and the happiness of living a good life and doing what you love doing. And Kris is what I love. You know, the younger generation, Josh, you know, COVID was such a game changer. And you got people that got paid for staying home. Kris got paid during COVID because he needed a damn job. Right. You know, and he was sitting home waiting on his start, you know, for a agency to call him. He said, man, I got to go out and make some money to live indoors. He goes and does that. But when it's your pride and your passion and you're living the best life you can, favor is not going to leave you alone. You're going to get the favor. Mm-hmm. So I meet Kris, and man, we get on screen together. And my deal, I'm 64 years old. I love my age for the maturity, and you know, I made some mistakes. So the age is giving me, you know, the life experience, but I live my energy, and my energy says I'm gonna dress how I want to dress, and I don't care if you don't like it. I love it, and the people that love it too. Right. So like Avery saying, she went to school as a girl in a little preppy little private school. You don't think she didn't get some harassment by getting out of the box? She didn't care. She that's who I am. So I love that comes along with this, and we're rewarded for it because we find our lane. We find other people with the same passion. It's bridging people together, and that's what the podcast is about. And Kris, I love it. So Kris and I, last night, where the Bomb Factory here is a iconic music venue here, and we collab with them on we have the VIP area. 3 Coin does, so we do a collab. Bomb Factory. Let me see. Kris, show the T-shirt if you would. Oh yeah. So we did a shoot last night, but check this out.
Oh wow!
Fire.
Got it in black and we got it in white. As you know, this is the old school. I guess you call it Lady Lucky. I'm guessing.
Lucky.
One of the two, but yeah, they used to paint it on like the bomber planes and all of that. But like you said, going back to the homage, from the old school, bringing it back up, refreshing it. I
Yep.
mean, you just can't go wrong with it, man.
And another note, you know who his model was with him? Sheridan. Avery, do you know that?
Really?
Yeah, she killed it, Avery. She is
Oh,
so
she's the
pretty.
best.
So we've got one of Avery's best friends she met in Austin. She is a model and a half and just gorgeous and got a raspy voice, and she is smoke show beautiful from the inside out. And she don't give a darn, but she gives a darn. Hardest and she's a hard worker. She's just a
Yeah.
great human. And so, you know, it's family. Like Alex, it works with y'all.
Yeah, yeah.
When you're not at the store, you're at the store because Alex has
Right, right. Yeah.
and it just, I mean, you just can't help but be successful and feed into our passions when you've got a group around you that's kinfolk that loves it like
Yeah.
we do.
Right.
Let me ask everyone, and Kris, thank you for sharing, and we could go on and on and on. I want to hit this deal hot, and we'll do this again.
Yeah, I'm
And
definitely.
Josh, we'll keep each other in touch. The boat will rise. Whatever I can do to help you, vice versa. Avery,
Yeah.
we already know. But in closing, Abe, would you like to say anything in closing? And I'll see you next week. I'll be at Venice Beach, baby.
Woo! Yeah, I think there's like a commonality of just you know, the uniqueness and the passion. And I think a lot of times, you know, it's not just going to a thrift shop, it's a lot of time. Depending on how you source, I think, you know, it's not as easy as maybe it looks on Instagram. And so it's really special, like you said too, when that person tries on that piece, I always say, really even not trying to make a sale. If a vintage piece fits you and you like the vibe, get it.
Yeah.
Get it, buy it right then and there. Don't second guess it. So
Well,
yeah, it's pretty much how I feel about it.
Well, Avery will call me and shoot. I mean, on Venice Beach, they run against so many celebrities that come through there, and Avery connects with them. I mean, how come your dad? You're not gonna believe who was in the store today that I'm friends with now. And that's the other thing. Like when I play poker, man, I end up being around some of these guys I play poker with more than my own family, and I learned so much from the people that are stuttering. You know, they're playing a craft that I want to get better at. So there's a commonality there. I'm just so blessed and fortunate. My hobbies are my passions also. And Avery's the same way. She meets so many cool people, and the bigger the name they are, the cooler they are. Avery, isn't it ironic if they just have they're just real people like we are. They just have
Yeah,
the passion that we have.
yeah, and I think it's cool when those people, you know, I love a common shopper just as much as
Oh,
a
of course.
celebrity, but I think it is cool, kind of a milestone in your life when you see those people rocking in your stuff. You're like, okay, you know, like let's keep going. It gives you a little boost. But yeah, I think being in California is a different rodeo for sure. But I'm just super grateful to have the space and be a part of the vintage scene.
And Josh, on that topic, I mean, you're in New York. There's
Yeah.
probably not a celebrity that's not on your phone that likes fashion. I mean, and that
Yeah.
you could, you know, you could sit down and have coffee with them, and you don't see who they are. You see another person that has the same passion that you have, and that's what the other caveat that's so beautiful, or the homage that's so beautiful about this industry.
Yeah. You just like you said it too, the commonality that you use that phrase of like us liking the same items and being interested in stuff. And, going back to what you guys said, like we love a celebrity. I love a normal person as well. I love nothing better than just like, smiling at someone and making them leave, even if they're not even into vintage, came into the store and said, oh, those guys are good. The price was a little crazy, but they were a chill group. They welcomed me. Yeah, I'm just a big component, making people feel comfortable, making them
Boom,
at home when they
boom.
come to my space. That's like my biggest thing. You could say whatever you want. I want you to say that, these guys were treated me nice and they showed me around. And same thing with like sometimes celebrity, it's like they're just another person. I didn't have a Rolodex. I don't know stylists. It just God had just kept
Thank
leading me the right way. And we had Yachty come to the store. Beyonce just got a shirt from us.
you just
We
never
did
know. You
yeah,
never know.
we did a pop up with Onyx. I don't know if you know Onyx. They're like a hip hop
Sure.
group from the '90s. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a longer list. Play with cards, just crazy stuff that if I told my younger self you would be meeting these people, and selling to these people, I wouldn't even believe it. So that's what it's all about too. Is like I feel like my younger self is proud of where I'm at. and probably wouldn't even believed it. And it was just, you know, one thing led to another, and you just keep writing that like gratitude and um, you know, the love of the game, and you know, showing the passion for it. People can see you're passionate about the stuff that you're selling or you're pushing. They want to get behind it.
I'm gonna say it just like this too. Like this hat, 50 Cent came from nothing, and look where he is now.
All
And
right.
this hat, I mean, you see what I'm sporting right now.
Yeah.
See
All
what I
right.
put
Yeah.
on it. Tell
All
me,
right.
this is when 50 dropped his first album, right?
Yep. Yep.
Found that
Yeah.
in the store. This is my favorite hat for a while. This is in my private
I
collection.
love that. I love that.
And I listen to 50 all the time. You can't stop him. He's real and he's got integrity. And he
Yep.
just talks real. I mean, he's going to do what's right, just like us. I mean,
Yep.
you know, this fills my tank being around you guys and always
Me
does.
too.
I want to thank you for the time, Josh. This is
Of
part
course.
one.
Of course. Yeah.
Many parts coming. And thank you for
I'm
your
here.
time. Hey,
All
Pop,
right.
I know you
All
got to
right.
get back to your little kiddos. I love that. It's about
Thank
keeping it real. I can't wait to mix it up again with you at your stores. When I'm on the East Coast, you come to Texas. You can
Yep.
Casa su casa, my friend.
I love that, man. I think same. Same.
Avery, I love you. I'll see you next week. Josh, thank you.
Yeah. Nice meeting you guys. We'll be in touch.
Nice
Let's
to
get
meet ya.
Instagrams and stuff.
Three corners out.
Yeah.
Three corners out, because you know what? We're always all in. Stank and stank. Stone cold. Boom. Cut as a wrap.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.